I'm glad to see you've come to hang out with me today. I have a collection prepared for you that I'd like to show. It's my record collection. Unfortunately, I don't have a record player right now because the needle needs to be replaced. But I thought we could just look at these records anyway, look at the covers, and talk about the music. This first one is appropriate, I think. It's called Music for Quiet Times. And it's a selection of very relaxing music, classical music. You see on the cover, there's an image of a sunset or a sunrise. Both are quiet times, and both are perfect times for this music. But let's look at the next one. This one is an album of jazz music by John Coltrane. You see, he's playing the saxophone. And this one opens up, so there's an image inside. You can see. There's a picture of him. This one. I have some friends who really like this band. It's U2. This is their album, Joshua Tree. Because there's a picture of a famous tree that was called the Joshua Tree. One really cool thing about records is they sometimes contain special extras like this. It's a lyric sheet of all the songs, and on the other side is a poster. Kind of a blurry picture. But that's one thing that a lot of people like about this medium. This one, by an artist named Donovan Leitch, I believe is his last name. And I really like the back because it's just the branches of a tree. Sometimes when I'm listening to the music, I just like to look at the branches on the tree and imagine I'm lying in the grass, looking up and see the branches of the tree. And smell the fresh air and hear the birds singing and watch the clouds go by. This one is by an artist named Buffy Sainte Marie. You see, she has a steel guitar. She wrote a lot of songs and sang her songs that she wrote. One famous one that she wrote was called Universal Soldier. It was a kind of political song, but it was covered by a lot of different bands. Sometimes people still sing it now, today. John Lee Hooker. He's a blues musician. He has one song. It's not on this album. But these songs are good too. Yeah, they're good to dance to, for sure. This album is called Kabuki Wookie, and it's a live album. This next one is Adele. This is her album 21, with many of her most popular songs like Rumor Has It, Rolling in the Deep, Set Fire to the Rain. Another great female vocalist. More than great. Lady Soul or Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. And this is a kind of compilation album with some of her popular songs, like A Natural Woman, which was written by Carole King, Chain of Fools, Groovin', many famous songs. A beautiful voice. I like this cover because a cartoonist named R. Crumb drew all these cartoons on the front. And they're all different songs on the album. Ball and Chain, combination of the two. Here's a picture of Janice, the vocalist from this band. Big Brother and the Holding Company, that's the name of this band. And Janis Joplin was the singer. This next one has a really cool kind of cartoon cover from the Tom Tom Club. And they have a song that was on an advertisement for Target. Genius of Love. So you probably heard that one. It was covered on that advertisement. As you can see, here's the back of the album. Let's look at the next one. This is Ray Charles. This is a record from 1960, it says at the back. There's many romantic songs that Ray Charles played on his piano and sang. Like Baby, Let Me Hold Your Hand, Late in the Evening, and Easy Riding Call. And now this is a interesting cover, very psychedelic. This is the Grateful Dead's Bear's Choice. So it's a collection of different songs from different albums and live performances. And the back is a picture of a bear. And this album cover is very similar to the next one by the same band. American Beauty. See? The text is very psychedelic. And there's a rose in the center. Kind of a wood grain design. And on the back is a picture of the band with the track list. I think my favorite song on this album, it's hard to say, there's so many good ones. They're all good. I recommend it to you. And this one, Parliament Funkadelic, or just Parliament. Mothership Connection. Very funky record. And this record in particular has an interesting and unique thing about it. If we take it out and look at the label, we can see it says side 1, and on this side is the same, side 1. There was some sort of mistake at the factory where these were printed, so the sides are both labeled side 1, which makes it a little bit confusing. The next one is a very early record by the band Jefferson Airplane, right? Fleetwood Mac, excuse me. I always get those two confused. But this is before Stevie Nicks joined the band. And I like the artwork and how it folds out. I can show you the inside as well. It's much more simple. Just the track list and a picture of a sunset. Very popular motif. This is a kind of strange album cover by Pink Floyd. There's some masks that are a little bit scary looking. But this album is a collection of early recordings when their band member and founding member Syd Barrett was still a member of the band. Songs like Bike and Arnold Lane and See Emily Play, some of the most famous early Pink Floyd songs. This is a strange rarity. It's The Great Rock and Roll Circus by many different artists. You can see. This was a film made by the Rolling Stones, but they had guests like John Lennon, Eric Clapton, Led Zeppelin, Cream, The Who, Buffalo Springfield, and they actually were said to have been outplayed by The Who at this concert. So they have some kind of hard feelings about it. But this is an interesting record because its label is kind of a famous bootleg label, Mushroom Records. So it's not an official release. The quality of the recording is poor. This is an album by the Moody Blues called Days of Future Past, with a very interesting cover, because if you turn it this way, it looks like a woman's face, and if you turn it this way, it's a man's face. And these songs are all about the hours of a day. It begins with dawn and ends with night and evening. And there's a rumor that John Lennon would listen to this album on the record in his car, because he had a record player in his car. This album is my favorite Beatles album. It's Magical Mystery Tour. And you can see it still has the plastic on it because I didn't open it yet. This is a re-release, and it's in mono instead of stereo. And I heard a story that the Beatles used to listen to their music in mono so they could move the speakers around to different parts of the house they were in. And they wouldn't have to worry about missing a part of the song because it was only in the left or the right channel. And I have another one. This is from Paul McCartney's solo career, and it's Ram, but the cover is blank, and that's because it's the mono version. It's an official release, but it looks like a bootleg, but it is official. This is Ravi Shankar's record called Improvisations. He was a musician from India, and his music can be very inspiring. This has a really cool cover because it looks like a newspaper, and this is from a band called The Four Seasons. Their singer's name was Frankie Valli, but on this page you can see the Beatles, and looks like Ravi Shankar, but I'm not sure. Very interesting cover. There's a picture of Uncle Sam here. The whole thing looks like a newspaper. This album is called The Genuine Imitation Life Gazette. I don't know much about this one, but it has an interesting cover. Beruga Bandit. I know that there's a Beatles cover, Good Day Sunshine. And on the back is a baby rhinoceros. Very cute. This next album is Purple Rain. Purple Rain by Prince. And it's one of my favorite by him. The sleeve is interesting. Check it out. Kinda cool. This is an electronic musician named Jean-Michel Jarre, and I like the pattern on the cover. Looks like people with binoculars, maybe his audience. And there's a picture of him on the back. He looks very intense. This is another electronic band. They're a goth band called Second Layer. This album's called World of Rubber. And this band had some members from another group called The Sound. And this is their kind of experimental project. And here we have a radio station's compilation. My favorite song on here is a slowed down demo version of Tommy the Cat by Primus. Very funky, very cool. But there's a lot of other good songs on here too. It's mostly punk music. There's a song by the Mud Puppies. You might know that band if you're familiar with Nirvana. And here's another Primus album. This one is called Green Naugahyde. And it is, as you can tell, the cover is green Naugahyde leather. And the album is green as well. This is a live 10-inch single. That was a special release for Record Store Day in 2015, I think. This is an oddity. It is a flexi disc. Sometimes promotional material would be released on these. They were, I guess, kind of cheaply made, but this is music from the University of Kansas marching Jayhawks. And it's not even round, as you can see. It's like a square. Sometimes these would come in magazines. See? Kansas Alumni, Volume 77. If you can see. And then here, this is our Stevie Moore's phonography. He is a home recorder, home taper. He would write his own songs and record them in his bedroom long before YouTube. And so he's kind of a interesting person. Eccentric guy, but really talented. And this is one more radio station's record. This one is by The Residents, and it's called Please Do Not Steal It. Because when The Residents would release some of their albums, they would often be stolen from the radio stations because they were rare and could be resold. So this was a special record made specifically for radio stations, and they called it Please Do Not Steal It. So that's all my records that I wanted to show you, except for one more, and it's very cute. It's a Japanese version of Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention's original album, Freak Out. It's designed just like a record. And even the disc looks like a tiny record, but this is a compact disc. You can see. So that's kind of an interesting novelty I wanted to show you. Well, I hope you had fun looking at my records. I sure did. I love to talk about this kind of thing. Come see me again after I get that needle fixed, and we'll get that record player working again, and we'll listen to some new music. See you again soon.